Hello and welcome to Creating Canon with your hosts AJ Hamilton and Nicholas Comedia Pantalone.
C.
Is it C in Italian?
I would think so. What else would it be?
Yeah, you're right. No, you're probably right.
That's a great question.
I don't speak Italian, so I can't help.
C. But like
that's better. Yeah, yeah.
Waving of the hands.
With the hands, yeah.
Yeah. I think I just said Sia, who is a singer, but that's, you know what? We're just gonna...
Nobody knows what she looks like.
I know what she looks like.
I'm kidding. I know. She worked hard to not, but now people know.
Yeah. She's
All right.
got some sort of, like, chronic disease that puts her in chronic pain.
What?
Yeah, she just announced it. It's really sad.
Aw.
Yeah.
Poor lady.
Also, she's, like, in her 40s, which I also was shocked by.
Fascinating. But this isn't about Sia.
No.
This isn't about Italians.
See ya later. Conversation about that.
Get out of here. But this is actually a new feature on Creating Canon.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a spin-off within Canon.
Yep.
These are going to be called Cannon Blasts.
Yep, we're lovingly calling it Cannon Blast, which
Yeah.
The whole idea is AJ and I see a lot of movies, and one of the things we thought about doing was talk about mainstream, or maybe even not mainstream films, but films that are currently in theaters that we've both seen and that we both think are worth talking about for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Things that we could use, borrow, steal, or just, chat about.
Indeed.
And the reason they're called Cannon Blasts also is because they're short little episodes.
Exactly.
Less than, hopefully, 15 minutes.
We shall see.
But
We're
with
very
the two
verbose.
of us. Yeah.
I could talk about this movie for a while, I
Me
think.
too. So
we're just going to jump into it. This week, if you haven't checked the title of the podcast.
Yeah. It was called Film of the Year by Empire.
Whoa.
A masterpiece by IGN Movies. Gloriously Daring by The Guardian. The Times gave it 5 stars. The Evening Standard gave it 5 stars. The Guardian gave it 5 stars. Time Out gave it 5 stars. Total Film gave it 5 stars. Empire gave it 5 stars.
My goodness, what could this movie be?
This movie, if you don't know it yet from the title, Joaquin Phoenix is astonishing, says somebody. I lost it. It was on my phone, but I lost it. We are talking about Todd Phillips's Joker. This should be fun because AJ and I have not talked about what we think about this movie at all. So we are going to reveal to each other and you, the listening audiences, our feelings.
All right. Who wants to go first with initial reactions?
Ooh, that's a really interesting
want to do
question. Rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
That means I choose?
Yeah, I
you
guess
go
so.
first. First time was both scissors. Second time I had scissors. AJ had paper.
Paper's always good, though. Covers rock. All right. So I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. I saw it last night, and I have still not come down on a side, but when I walked out of the theater, I was not happy.
Really?
Initially.
Why weren't you happy?
I think I rolled my eyes at this movie more than I have in a movie in a theater in a long time.
Interesting.
I thought that a lot of the scenes were...
There'd probably be spoilers, but...
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Just throwing that out there.
Exactly. I felt that a lot of scenes went on for quite a while. I thought that certain aspects of his character development were very forced. I thought that the tackling of social issues felt incredibly broad and aimless. And I think that his performance is great. He's captivating, and a lot of the visuals are very beautiful. I mean, the sets, everything are wonderfully done, wonderfully created. But and I think the third act really picks up. I think, especially, again, spoilers, once he goes off his meds, I think I am so much more engaged with the character. But that is a significantly shorter part of the movie than the lead-up, obviously. go ahead with your initial impressions.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most criminally irresponsible movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Nice.
I think that's probably the way I will start with it.
Okay.
I will say, just to get this out of the gate, I thought the acting pretty much across the board was phenomenal. I thought Joaquin was really wonderful.
Francis Conroy?
Francis
His mother?
Conroy was great.
My goodness.
I thought Brett Cullen was great, who played Thomas Wayne.
Right.
I really loved Bill Camp. I thought De Niro was great.
Yep, Zazie Beetz, even, for the little that they give her.
Yeah. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Zazie Beetz? I believe so. She was Domino in Deadpool 2.
Yes.
Yeah, and a bunch of other stuff, obviously.
Tons of other things.
Yeah.
But she was great. I thought the acting pretty much across the board was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I thought
They really elevated the script, which
Yes.
was almost paper thin.
Well, yeah, and I also thought the score, I want to give credit to the score. I thought the score was beautiful.
I think everything but the choice of Rock and Roll 2 when he's walking down the stairs was great. Everything else.
Oh, I'm not
was
talking
wonderful.
about the music necessarily,
choices.
but
I see.
I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the very specific score.
It was just
by
mixed in. Yeah.
Hildur Gundater. I can't pronounce her name.
Sure.
She just won the Emmy for Chernobyl.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But
good choice.
I thought
Todd Phillips.
the screenplay was terrible.
Yeah.
Pretty darn terrible.
Yeah.
And there were some exciting moments here or there.
Yeah.
But I thought so much of the movie was completely predictable.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole section with Zazie Beetz and the Joaquin Phoenix characters that I think was supposed to be this, like, oh my god, big reveal, which
It was
you could see it coming
Oh
10
my
miles
God.
away.
I mean, the way that they film her scenes is so unbelievable
Yes.
that you're like, well, clearly she wouldn't be a part of his life, so he's
obviously making
this up. And we should mention that for the people who haven't actually been listening to any of the other commentary on Joker, this is almost a blatant, I mean, they would say homage, I'm sure.
To Taxi
but
Driver?
Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, which in it includes
De Niro in both movies.
De Niro in both movies, but also in King of Comedy, he is delusional.
Yes.
There are multiple parts in it where he is having delusional conversations. So the fact that the first scene where he is in the audience of De Niro's show made me realize that we do not have a reliable narrator.
Absolutely.
And therefore everything from that point on almost didn't have it, like, cut the stakes in half for me.
Right. Well, not only did it cut the stakes in half, I just thought that there were so many parts of the script that were so terribly developed. If we're going to talk about just little things like the fact that the same character within a couple of days seemingly gets knocked to the ground and then gang kicked just was stupid. Like, I didn't buy that that would be a thing. The reveals, like all of the reveals that were supposed to be like, oh my god, I was like, I don't get this. The whole thrust of the movie is that Arthur Fleck, who becomes Joker, loves Murray Franklin, who's De Niro's character, and the city seems to love Murray Franklin. I mean, he's basically Johnny Carson.
Yes.
And it is Thomas Wayne who Arthur Fleck hates and gets angry at. And of course Murray Franklin does something to Joaquin Phoenix's character that he kind of pisses him off a little bit.
Right.
But the fact that, like, the revenge plot becomes about Murray Franklin and not about Brett Cullen's character, Thomas Wayne, is idiotic. And then also, too, I just want to throw this out there, the fact that sparks a revolution in the movie where it's like everyone's angry at Thomas Wayne.
Right.
They're not angry at Murray Franklin. So I don't get why he is angry. Like, I don't get why everyone's on the side of killing him.
So I have this theory. I've looked through a lot of theories, and funny enough, I have not come across this one. So, unreliable narrator, right?
Sure.
He seems to be a different person when he's interacting with Murray. He seems
as Joker?
as the full Joker.
Sure.
Right? I believe that, well, first of all, his plan was not to murder Murray. I think his plan was to kill himself.
Absolutely.
On screen.
Yes.
And then he gets overwhelmed by describing what society has done.
Sure.
Society. So my theory is that he did not actually go on TV. He didn't even meet Murray. I don't think that happened. I think we see this part where it's the riots, and we scan over to one lone Joker mask. And that's the guy who is out of frame of every other rioter. And he follows the Waynes into the alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
What if that's actually what Arthur Fleck did?
No.
Because when he's in the asylum...
Sure.
He's laughing about a joke that she wouldn't get, and he flashes back to Bruce over his dead parents, and he didn't have a view of that. And maybe that's just, I don't know, maybe it's a more meta thing.
Here's what I would say to that.
All right.
If that is the case, this movie is even worse than I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I hear some of these conspiracy theories or, like, what it could be, like that, what you're trying to do, what people are trying to do is make sense out of something that is nonsensical.
Oh, I agree.
There are no hints to that.
No.
If you are the only person on the planet who's like, this could be it, what you're trying to do is you are working very, very, very hard
to rationalize
something that is not rational.
I was working very hard to rationalize this shit.
This was another reason why I disliked the movie. Was like the exact same thing where I thought to myself, why are we narratively linking him waking up after the car accident to the death of the Waynes? And then why does that go to the flashback at the end of the movie? There is no narrative reason.
He didn't see it? Nothing?
Yes. So here's how you fix it. And also, too, one thing that also really fucking pissed me off more than anything else was there's the scene where... So there's the whole, like, is his mom crazy plot line, or did Thomas Wayne set her up?
Yeah.
He's looking at the photo of her, and he flips it around and says, "You're so beautiful, TW," which is clearly Thomas Wayne.
She could have written that, though.
He knows what her handwriting looks like.
Well,
right?
Yeah. She could have done it with her left hand like he did in the thing. I don't know. No, you're right.
The long story of that, no matter what, he has no reaction to it. He turns it over and he's
crumples
like, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted, because again, who he's angry at is Thomas Wayne.
Sure.
What I think would have been a better ending, well, first of all, there should have been a reaction to that, whether he realizes it's true or not. I don't care.
Sure.
Maybe he sets it down, he throws it down, and like his mom's letter is sitting there, and maybe the handwriting does match. Like we as the audience sees it, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? I thought the better ending would have been, rather than just some rando lady who was the other guest that night, it should have been Thomas Wayne talking to the rioters. So all of a sudden Thomas Wayne's there, and he's like, right? Thomas Wayne doesn't recognize him as being the guy who came to him earlier in the evening. Right? He shoots Murray. Thomas Wayne freaks out, runs out of the theater. Right?
Yep.
Joker chases him, catches him in an alley where he's now gathered his family, and he kills him.
Sure.
Then everything's linked.
Yeah.
Joker is the one who does it. Also, this presupposes a world where the Batman, when that kid grows up to be Batman, Joker is like 65 or 70.
Right.
But I think all of that aside, all of the mistakes aside, I think this movie is criminally irresponsible because...
Go for it.
At the end of the day, I feel like the main message of the movie is... When you feel like an outcast in society, it is perfectly acceptable to start murdering people. And I am curious to see how many manifestos in the near future of people who go and shoot a bar up or whatever mention the Joker, mention Arthur Fleck, mention a connection there. And to one step further, why this is scary to me... is the screening I saw it in when he first killed the guy he worked with, and then when he turned around and killed Murray, there were large portions of the audience were like, yeah, those fuckers deserved it, screaming and yelling.
Shit.
And then, as I was walking to the bathroom, there was a couple of dudes standing outside the bathroom, and one of them said, wow, if that bitch just would have fucked him,
damn,
it would have all been okay.
Holy shit.
And I think, even if it's 5 people who read the wrong message of that kind of movie without it being explicit. Because I think that's the other thing, too, is I don't think it was explicit that there was anything wrong with him. I think he was set up to be a hero. Or
an anti-hero or something to that effect. I think that one of my biggest problems, and I sort of alluded to it, but you've put it into really sharp relief, is that it doesn't take a stance on anything.
That's exactly right.
It doesn't show that... well, maybe this is what he's feeling, but that's wrong. It doesn't say this is how society is. It's sort of just out with the meaning of what the upper class is and the lower class. It feels like Todd Phillips is trying to make a pseudo-intellectual movie and doesn't really know what to focus on,
Yeah.
and therefore allows it to be almost overly interpreted. I know that art is supposed to be interpretive
Absolutely.
and subjective, as
Absolutely.
we learn from Arthur Fleck that comedy
Right.
is subjective. Great. Which is not untrue,
Sure,
but
sure.
one of the bigger problems of, like, hey, society is subjective. Great.
Yeah, it was just,
But
just a white
everything
dude
is-
getting what he wants.
Right.
Or getting angry because he didn't get what he wanted.
Right. It's just splayed out there like, well, take what you will from this. We didn't really decide on anything, so
Yeah.
how about it's up to you?
Look, I would be fine if the movie was everything exactly as it was, except until he killed Murray Franklin. Which I do have to say,
Yeah.
I felt a pit in my stomach. That scene was exceptionally acted.
Absolutely.
That was one of the best shot scenes, and for Todd Phillips' credit, I will give him that was one of the best written moments of the movie.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In that, I felt the intensity there, right? And I felt sick. I felt sick to my stomach. But here's what I'll say. If after he shot Murray, he goes out and he's not the folk hero, he didn't start the revolution.
That would be
People were like
amazing. Yeah.
booing him and hating him, and were like, "What are you thinking?" And then when he's in Arkham,
Yeah.
there's that moment where she's like, "People hate you for what you did.
Right.
You did not change anything. In fact, you made the world a worse place."
If we had been told that he was... I mean, maybe that's what they're trying to say, is that he was never out of the asylum. The fact that it is an unreliable narration
Yeah.
allows for too many interpretations.
Totally.
And therefore not a solid one. Not a solid storyline.
Yeah.
And therefore, if we had seen a side-by-side, they already ripped off Fight Club with the flashbacks with him being alone rather than with Zazie Beetz.
Yeah. Oh, God, that reveal. People in the theater were like, "Oh, my God." And I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yup. And the fact that, like, when she says, "Oh my God, are you Arthur?" That was enough. You didn't have to flash back.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go for the lowest common denominator. That's why this movie is doing so well, is because it is a simple film parading as an art house film.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Wow, that was harsh, but I think you're on to it.
Isn't it? There are these little things. The meeting, the dude in the records room.
Oh, the guy from
I love that guy.
He was in Child's Play.
Yes.
The remake. He was in
Brian Tyree Henry.
Yes.
I love that guy. That turn, when all of the exposition is just laid out for you.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of window dressing on the most simple and, like you say, irresponsible storyline.
Yeah. I think in a post-Columbine world, and especially in a post, like, Aurora, someone shoots up, The Dark Knight Rises,
Right.
This movie becomes even more difficult to quote-unquote enjoy. They missed the opportunity to make the Joker clearly somebody that we shouldn't get behind.
A villain.
Yes.
A true villain.
A true villain.
Because I actually thought that end scene where he has clearly killed the psychologist.
I know that psychologist, by the way.
Oh,
Her
you
name
do?
is April Grace. She is a wonderful woman.
Oh, that's funny.
She's an incredible actor.
Oh, wonderful.
Kind. Just a kind human being.
Well, I'm
That was
sad
actually
that she
my
was killed.
favorite part of this movie, was seeing her in it.
That's really cool.
I was so excited.
I mean, that was a great scene.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you see him skipping away with the blood-stained shoes, showing that, oh my God, he's a crazy murderer.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was beloved
Yeah, he started a revolution.
is the biggest problem.
Yeah. Like I said, and I think what frustrates me about a movie like this, too, is, like, watching it, I can see great elements in it. Look, I'm going to be honest. When Joaquin Phoenix is nominated for Best Actor,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be mad.
No.
When the score is nominated for Best Score, and when she probably wins, I'm not going to be mad. There are so many elements of this where I was like, oh, that was great.
Yeah.
So many good pieces.
Color palette, my
Color
God.
palette. Yeah, this is just one of those movies where, oh, the scene with the coworker played by Lee Gill, Gary,
Yeah.
the little person.
Yes. Where he's trying to get out.
Yeah, that scene was so good.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff where I was like, yes. Because those were the places where he truly was unhinged in a way, where I was like, ooh, what the fuck is, what is gonna happen?
And that is the type of character study that I wanted to see.
Yes.
The walking on the razor blade of sanity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like this movie was just a missed opportunity. And I think people who love it are giving it a pass because it's a comic book movie that goes someplace that we've never expected before.
Sure.
Fine, but it doesn't make it good, right? I mean, like, Justice League was better than Batman versus Superman, but that doesn't mean Justice League was good.
Right.
It was a shitty movie. It just was better than the other thing.
Right.
I thought there was a huge missed opportunity to take the idea of a comic book movie and elevate it into something else that is just spectacular.
Yeah.
And it just came up short because they took the wrong stance, they took a few shortcuts.
Yeah.
And they didn't do the things that they should have done. I get angry because if I, just watching the movie once, can go, well, here are your 5 main problems, and here are the 5 easiest ways to, like, shore those up.
Yeah.
And make the movie cooler. Like, could you imagine if Thomas Wayne was the other guest, and then he's there, and he's instead of just practicing shooting himself, he, like, practices shooting the person to his side, practices shooting him, like, and then all of a sudden there's this moment of, like, who is he going to kill in that moment?
Right.
Is he going to commit suicide?
Yep.
Is he going to talk about his mom? Is he going to put Thomas Wayne on blast? Is he going to literally blast Thomas Wayne?
Right.
Right? Because at that moment in the movie, we all knew what was going to happen.
Of course.
He was going to kill Murray Franklin after a big speech. There was no question. And I think that's the other thing, too, is, like, the suspense was not quite there.
It cuts the legs out of every bit of suspense. I mean, even with the skilled acting.
Yeah.
Which really drew me in.
Totally.
But I was like, well, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great performance.
Yes.
It was a great performance where I knew every beat that was going to happen.
And that was, right. And that was, honestly, the only time, other than the drawing the smile on the face with the blood, those are the only 2 times that I saw Joker.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say that I really enjoyed the dancing after killing the 3 dudes on the subway.
Yeah, I thought that was
cool and
quite
unhinged.
interesting. It's a bit of Marcel Marceau?
A little bit.
Yeah.
That kind of like, the sad clown mime kind of thing.
Sure.
I actually read this really interesting story, or maybe I heard an interview. I don't remember exactly where it was at. But what actually happened was that scene was supposed to be him coming in and, like, washing the makeup off his face.
To hide from it.
Yeah, and then, like, hiding the gun. And what happened is, like, literally on that day, the composer sent over music. They heard it, and Joaquin was like, I want to dance to this.
Oh, I heard that from Joaquin, yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yes.
I also thought this was super fucking fascinating
What's
in
that?
the movie. Did you see what Jimmy Kimmel did to Joaquin Phoenix?
Yes, I did.
Where he played the clip
the deleted, or the outtake.
of him getting angry and, like,
photographer
putting Joaquin Phoenix in a horrible position.
Yes.
Embarrassing him and making him sort of, like, angry and not knowing what to do on a talk show.
Yeah. That had to be staged.
Well, that's the thing that threw me off. That was one of the things I thought after the movie. I was like, Jimmy, you just watched a movie where Joaquin Phoenix played a character who fucking shot somebody in the face because they made fun of him on a talk show.
Honestly, that's why that's why now I feel like, because I didn't know what happened, but thinking about it now, I have to believe that was set up.
I think Todd Phillips set it up and Jimmy Kimmel set it up. I don't think Joaquin Phoenix had a fucking clue.
You think that was his natural?
I think they put him out on the. I think they put him on the spot, trying to drum up that question and then letting people make that connection afterwards.
Jesus. Well, wow.
But so I guess both of us.
Yeah.
I'm both surprised and also weirdly happy that we kind of had the same thoughts.
Yeah. I just I couldn't get next to it. I tried so hard last night to see both sides of it. I tried to analyze all of the different parts of it. I watched theory videos. I spent way more time on this than I think I should have. I mean, it's clearly a work of attempted homage or something.
So close to being great.
But yeah, it just did not hit it for me.
Yeah. But again, I cannot praise Joaquin enough. I cannot praise most of the cinematography. Some of the cinematography was not great.
Yeah.
Most of the cinematography enough. I cannot praise the composer enough.
Sure.
There's a couple of moments that Todd Phillips had that were great, but mostly not. Oh, another thing too. I think the three dudes in the subway,
Yeah.
rather than kicking him on the ground, again, this is one of those where I feel like it was a missed opportunity, where it's like, rather than kicking him on the ground and then shooting,
Right.
because that puts that set of murders in like a quote-unquote self-defense place.
It puts it in the Bernie Getz thing, the thing that the Death Wish
yes,
was based on.
Yes,
Or
yes.
he's was based on Death Wish. I can't remember.
One way or the
Whatever.
other. Yeah, where I would have preferred, as they were getting closer and as they were taunting him,
Right.
he would have gone into some sort of like PTSD or like pulled the gun and shot and not realized what he did.
I think if he had just started laughing and he had been sitting there and they surrounded him, that would have been fine.
Yeah, but the second they start kicking him on the ground, it goes back to that whole like, society did this to me and now society deserves it.
And technically, I would say it's too much like the sign beating.
Well, that's exactly the other.
It was lazy.
It was lazy.
Honestly was.
It was super lazy.
Different, no different stakes, different levels, or anything like that. It just should have been something different.
Yeah, either they should have not kicked him, and she should have just, or the sign beating.
Yeah,
he should have just taken the sign to the face, and the kid should have been like, "Stupid fucking clown."
Absolutely.
Spit on him and then walked away.
Yes,
they didn't need to do the kicking, because the kicking thing. And I guess maybe what Todd Phillips was trying to do was trying to set up a PTSD situation where it's like, it's in the same exact situation.
I suppose.
But it didn't work.
No, it didn't.
It did not work.
No.
Well, anyways, thanks for listening to our first Cannon Blast.
Wrapping it all up, ending it on a positive note.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll be doing this again. I'm sure we'll love movies in the future. And if you did love this movie, please write us. Let us know. Tell us what you loved about it. Tell us why we're wrong.
And if you didn't, please
tell us why we're right.
Shower us with praise on our hot takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is actually kind of a little bit of a hot take.
I
think there's a lot of people...
so.
It's rated a 9 on IMDb right now.
I know. I went through Letterboxd and checked out all of those reviews as well.
It is a high rated film.
Well, whatever you think is correct, because films are subjective.
Yes.
And whatever you like. So
unless you're wrong.
Keep that in your...
Unless you're just completely wrong.
That's true. Don't be wrong.
I'm just kidding. It just sounded like such an asshole thing to say.
Oh, man. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Creating Canon, CANNON, and you can email us all of those opinions at creatingcanon@gmail.com, and follow us or whatever, but you've heard that all before. Yeah, that's Nicholas C. Pappas. I didn't say that at the beginning. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll just put in the music. Sure. The fiction music right now.
That's Nicholas C. Pappas. I am AJ Hamilton, and as we always say,
good night and good canon. And go out to the cinema, because we should be seeing movies in theaters with other people.
Absolutely. Not just the old stuff. Not just the time-tested, wonderful canon films.
Right. It's good to see other stuff.
Definitely. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
That's the Cannon Blast.
Ah, my lord! It cut me leg off! Oh, God! I'm in such pain! Oh, fucking God! I'm like a frightened baby. Fucking shit up forever about it.
What accent was that?
It was sort of like Russian Irish.
Yeah. I want me Lucky Charms.